All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back. I'm Dave. This is the Real Music Observer, observing real music in real time for real people just like you right there, just like me right here. Alan Parsons, genius, brilliant. Maybe, not on the top of everybody's playlist these days. And it's unfortunate that the focus testing and all the research ends up getting Alan Parsons pared down to one song, which I believe these days is Eye in the Sky. And if you're lucky, you get the intro, which is called Sirius, which then goes into Eye in the Sky. Of course, that intro was made popular mainly during the 1990s, where it was often played to introduce players at basketball games. Alan has a new song out. I told you about the song he did with Lou Gramm last week, Lou Gramm, a Foreigner. This time around, he's released a very nostalgic video. It's called As Lights Fall, and it talks about his entire career. When you have a production credit on Abbey Road, and then you have another one on Dark Side of the Moon, um, you've pretty much accomplished all you need to accomplish. If you wanted to say that those are the number one and number two albums of all time, I'm not going to really argue with you. You can debate other music by other bands, but it's hard to argue with Abbey Road and Dark Side of the Moon. And Alan Parsons just happened to be there for both of those. So, what are the chances? What are the coincidences for that? His new album is called The Secret, and As Lights Fall is kind of a nostalgic look back at his whole life. Alan in the video is dressed like a pirate, and there are these pirate ships, and there's animation, and then there's he's on the beach, and it's a good video. It's an interesting video, and he looks very authentic as a pirate. By the way, he does sing lead vocals on this track, and he's not Eric Wolfson, but he is Alan Parsons, and he sounds good singing this song. He's got the help of, like I say, Lou Gramm and Jason Mraz and other fine singers on this record, but he does a really nice job on this song, which has got the famous layering electric guitars, acoustic guitars, um, really rich, full, lush instrumentation. If Burt Bacharach and David Gilmour got together, I think they'd write something that sounds like what Alan Parsons does. It's just one of those things where you think to yourself that this guy, he's got it going on. In fact, if you look back at careers, Al Stewart, Mr. Time Passage's song on the radio, Year of the Cat, he pretty much owes his career to the great production work of Alan Parsons. Al Stewart had some really great music prior to his pairing with Alan Parsons, but Parsons kind of pushed his music into a more mystical, late night driving, okay for rock stations to play area. Whereas before, I think, Al Stewart would have been just a pop star, but I think his music took on more depth, and it had just a more, what I would call, rich sound to it, where it manifested itself in just being on stations that it probably wouldn't get on. I mean, it was top 40, it was adult contemporary, it was a little edgy enough to kind of push Al Stewart into a different category. And again, Alan Parsons was there for that. And, as a kid, you turn on the radio, games people play, I wouldn't want to be like you, Standing on Higher Ground, Don't Answer Me. I mean, these songs were prime time. There was another one I used to hear all the time on the radio. Let's Talk About Me during the mid 80s for me was kind of a big song. But you don't hear a lot of Alan Parsons on the radio anymore. The guy is a master craftsman, and it's sad and nostalgic to look back at his career as it kind of goes off into the sunset. This video, I had one friend over on Patreon just say, hey, I got choked up. You posted this video, and I watched it. And, for those of us who kind of see this type of music kind of fading, because it is fading. I mean, I hate to agree with Brian Howe the other day, who said that, rock and roll is becoming prehistoric. Or I think what's happened is that radio stations, for the most part, have moved on and are now embracing all of this synthetic music. Whereas Alan Parsons represents the best production, the best arranging, all of the stuff that we grew up listening to. A little more sophisticated than some of the stuff being created today. And when you listen to this song, again, it's called As Lights Fall, you're gonna hear that sophistication. It's right there. This could be the strongest song of 2019 thus far as composition, production, theme. It's just that good. The new album is called The Secret. It's out courtesy of Frontiers Music. Kudos to Frontiers for kind of broadening their catalog here. This isn't something that ordinarily I would expect them to be distributing, but they are. And good on Alan Parsons for trusting Frontiers. It's a good relationship. More importantly, it's great music. And you need to go listen to it, because you'll be taken back to a time when quality rock was a thing, because it ain't a thing anymore, or if it is, it's very rare. All right, done being nostalgic. If you need a box of Kleenex, I can't help you here, but it is one of those days when you hear a song like this, you think to yourself, it ain't coming back, folks. Not like this. All right, see you soon.